I come. Hello, sports fans, sports collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Car King Sports and Variety Show. I am your host, the Catman, Brian Cataquet, a.k.a. the Car King. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490 AM.com, your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the telephone line, I welcome to the program a former 17-year baseball veteran player. He played infield for the 1963 St. Louis Cardinals. I welcome in Jack Damaska. Jack, great to have you on.
Well, it's nice to be on, just so you don't forget me. I'm an
Absolutely.
old-timer.
Oh, no, you sound great. And, you know, Jack, I want to begin. You had a brief MLB career. However, your name will forever be linked to two baseball icons, Sandy Koufax and Satchel Paige. Tell us why.
Well, Satchel Paige was in spring training, and I didn't know that he was even on a team. I was with the Richmond Braves. But we had a game against them, and Satchel Paige come in to pitch in relief, and he ended up. I was the leading hitter in the league, and I got a base hit out into right center, and Hank Aaron, he booted the ball, and I ended up making it to third, so I was at third base with no outs. So I got a base hit. And Sandy Koufax ended up striking out the next three hitters. Pop one guy up, and he struck out. And I was commented about the base hit I got. So he struck out the two guys and a pop up. So I got the last base hit. He never faced anybody else after that. I was the last base hit that he gave up in his career.
That's right. So your first major league at bat was against Sandy Koufax, and your last professional hit was against Satchel Paige. So you guys your name will forever be linked to those two baseball legends. Right,
Sandy Koufax. I think I was not too smart. I wasn't hiding in the dugout. Everybody was hiding, and I was in the open. So Johnny Keane told me to get up there and pinch hit. So I pinch hit and struck out, and he struck out. I think about 16 guys that game. It was in Dodger Stadium. The Dodger Stadium was a brand new stadium in 1963, 1962. So I got at bat in front of 55,000 people. Many people was in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, unbelievable. And we're talking with Jack Damaska, who played for the 63 Cardinals. Now, Jack, some of my audience may not be familiar or may not be aware, but you are a Beaver, Pennsylvania County Hall of Famer, inducted in 1985, right?
Right. When I got
and that must have been a big honor for you.
Oh yeah, it was a big honor for me, and that getting called in to play second base, I replaced Julian Javier, and Bill White was playing first base, Dick Grote shortstop, Ken Boyer third base, and Tim McCarver was the catcher, and that's the National League All-Star team that I replaced. I was over at second base, and Ken Boyer hollered over at me and said, make sure when you get the ball you throw it to the left side, because I hadn't got to play in a long time. So he was kidding me and making joke that I hadn't played in a while. So make sure I knew where to throw the ball.
Unbelievable. Now, I know this happened a long time ago, but 1956, you were signed by the St. Louis Cardinals. First, how did the Cardinals hear about Jack Damaska?
Well, in our day, you just went to a tryout camp. So when I was in high school, I went to tryouts camps in a place out in Ohio and one in Pennsylvania here. So the guy who signed Stan Musial, named Ollie Vanek, he came to my house and reported to my house and had me a contract for $200 and for a glove and a pair of shoes. Is about all I got. So I got signed by the Cardinals right out of the tryout camp.
So the scout was Ollie Vanek, and this is the man responsible for signing the great Stan Musial. So he must have seen talent in you.
Yeah, well, he came to my house in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, so yeah, I wasn't forgotten. So I really liked having that. And I think he signed a lot of other guys too, so it wasn't just Stan Musial.
Yeah, he did. And like I said, he saw talent, and rightfully so, because you lasted in pro organized baseball for nearly 20 years. That's a long time.
Yes, sir. I'd have stayed there the rest of the time too if they had kept me. But I had a team down in the Carolina League. They made me a manager, and the manager of a bunch of teams that kept on sending players to me that got released. They would go bad in some other part of the organization, and then they would send them to me, and I'd end up being releasing the guys. So when it come time for the next season to start, they didn't renew my contract. They just said they thought I was a good baseball man, and that I would have no trouble getting a team to manage, but I didn't hang in there. So I ended my career, and I went to work at home, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
And Jack, I'm looking at some of your statistics. Your first stop in the minors was Class D, playing for the Florida Islanders, and you did very well. You hit solidly a .271 batting average.
I was really surprised when.
You did very well, .271 batting average in '58, I believe, and in 1960 you got promoted to Double-A ball, and you hit 20 home runs. That was a club record for the team, right?
Right. That 271 batting average was the 10th highest league in the Daytona Beach, the Florida State League. I was really surprised about that one day. I hear later on I seen that, and I end up being kind of proud of being the 10th leading hitter.
Yeah, 271, 57, 58, you batted almost 300, 284 at Stockton. So you must have seen so I guess minor league pitching right off the bat wasn't that challenging for you.
Well, it was, but like I say, I love to play baseball more than anything. I'd have stayed in there forever if they'd have kept me.
Wow. Now, what do you remember most getting the call up to the St. Louis Cardinals Major League Baseball organization?
Well, the biggest thing was getting to go in and play second base, just to be proud enough to say that I played in the major leagues. I played in the International League. I made the International League All-Star team 5 times, and there's not many guys that did that. I made the International League All-Star team in Jacksonville, Florida, in Columbus, a couple times in Columbus, and also in the peninsula in Richmond, Virginia. I played the All-Star team there. So in the 3 different teams, I made the All-Star team. So they kept on getting me on the team, but they were never giving me a shot in the big leagues. I never got to play in the instructional league going into Florida in the spring training. I never got to play with them. I'd like to showed them that I could play just as well as a lot of guys did, but they never gave me a chance.
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, you were a perennial International League All-Star, and I read a quote. It said that you, Jack Damaska, was a firebrand of the Eddie Stanky mold. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I heard that too. Eddie Stanky took me out to the field one day to work on me, and he wanted me to get up against this fence and hold on and then do like a dance, trying to show me the things to do about playing second base, like what he did when he played. He was Jackie Robinson. When Jackie Robinson was coming up, Stanky was one of the guys against him, but he finally fell in for Jackie Robinson.
I mean, that's remarkable. Now, tell me, is this a fact? The first time you got into a game on defense, it was a substitute for Stan Musial?
It was in the big leagues?
In the big leagues,
it was
yeah.
A substitute for Alvier, but each guy that was on that team, they made the National League All-Star team.
Yeah, so some of your teammates on that '63 Cardinals, if you can share a little insight on a player like Stan Musial. How was Stan Musial as personally? Was he a great teammate?
He was a jokester. He was making plays, fun of guys all the time. He carried a harmonica with him, and he played songs for everybody. But the thing what he had to do with me, he called me an old bulldog from Pennsylvania because he was from Pennsylvania too.
Wow.
He was from Western Pennsylvania, and he had me one day go out, and we were playing catch, and he threw the ball to me, and I caught it and got it and threw it back to him. But what he did in the meantime, when I was catching the ball, he took his hat and turned it sideways. So when I threw the ball back to him, I thought the ball was going to hit him right in the head because he had his hat turned. But he was just doing that to catch me off guard. So he laughed like crazy. He had a good kick out of that because he thought that I was going to hit him with the ball. So he caught me with that. He joked about it and laughed and had a good time.
And of course, that was Stan Musial's last season in baseball.
Yeah, that was his last year. So,
what about Bob Gibson?
Well, I never had any. What I do with him, I used his bat. My bats weren't delivered yet, so I couldn't use the National League All-Star teams with the bat. So I just grabbed the pitcher's bat, and it was Bob Gibson's bat, and I got a base hit with it. But he was on our team as one of the leading pitchers.
Yeah. Now another teammate of yours. Now you guys go back when you were in the minor leagues. Tim McCarver. Did you get along with Tim McCarver?
Well, I hear got along great. He was great. I roomed with him a couple times. The thing is about him, he was only 19 years old. He signed out of high school. Tim McCarver is one player that played in three or four different centuries of baseball. Tim McCarver hung in there, and what he did in Memphis, he was from the town of Memphis, and that's where he joined the team, and he would get on the bus and we'd make trips, and him and Doc Foley would check the stock market because Tim signed the bonus, and him and the trainer would go into the back of the bus and then laugh out loud and read off the stock exchange about how much money there was in there. So
and what about Ken Boyer, Dick Grote?
Well, they didn't have they were too busy to bother with me. So, but Dick Grote was growing up in Western Pennsylvania. Dick Grote was my idol. He's from Western Pennsylvania too. So he was my idol, and I just said hello to him. I played at his golf course in Pennsylvania here too. He had him and another guy had a golf course in Pennsylvania here, and I got to play that and talked a little bit about Dick Grote then.
And Jack, the 1963 Cardinals, a team that finished in second place in the National League. Later on won a championship. But what was the deal with the 63 Cardinals? Were they not good enough to make it to first place that year?
Well, they were they were in back and forth, and they end up in second place. But I got close to almost playing with a National League team and won the pennant. The next year they won the pennant. 1964 they won the pennant, and I was playing the second base down in Jacksonville, Florida, and I made the All-Star team, and I was actually following somebody up at second base by playing AAA ball with the Cardinals. And the next year I got traded to the Columbus Jets.
Johnny Keane, the manager of the Cardinals, was he a knowledgeable baseball man? Did you get along with him well?
He didn't say, I don't even know whether he said hello to me. So I didn't have too much contact with him. I didn't I don't remember him saying hello to me.
And, you also batted, I think it was during the 1963 season when you played in the minor leagues. I mean, when they sent you back to the minors, you batted like .321. I mean,
right.
Do you remember that year?
A good year. I was having a good year that year, and that's why they sent me up. And then when I went back, I ended up playing back in AAA. I think that year I had 9 triples. I think I can't remember for sure, but and Rich Allen, he was playing in his AAA ball, and he ended up having 10 RBIs, I think, or 10 triples, and he beat me out. But I just remember I got to play in AAA ball. AAA ball. If I was in AAA ball and having a good year, I don't know why I never got a chance. So I played against them in spring training. I played against the big league teams and in the All-Star International League, and I always held my own. One year in 1967, I think, I got a base hit, a home run off Phil Niekro, who was pitching for Milwaukee, and I hit a home run off him, grand 3-run homer, and led the team in hitting and making the headlines in the newspaper in Atlanta, Georgia, that year after hitting a home run off of Niekro.
Yeah, and I'm reading a little bit about your biography right now. What was your affiliation with the Pittsburgh Pirates? Because I'm reading that Harry Walker eventually helped engineer a trade to secure yourself and other prospects.
When I got sent back from the minor leagues, Harry Walker was the manager of the Atlanta team in the International League, and he liked me. I choked up on the bat a lot, like he did when he led the National League in hitting one year, and I choked up on the bat because he kept telling me, he said, "You're not going to be a home run hitter if you play in the big leagues." He says you'd hit more of a singles hitter. So I choked up on the bat, but I still had about 13 or 14, 15 home runs a couple years in the minor leagues. But, yeah, Harry Walker had a liking to me, and he pulled off a trade to send me and Ron Cox to Atlanta from the Cardinals. And so that's how I got to go to the big leagues, by a recommendation of Harry Walker, I think.
Now, your very first, the very first professional baseball hit or home run that you performed, do you remember that at all?
No, I just know that in my first base, I only had one home run my first year in the Florida State League, but the next year I had 20 home runs and 96 ribbies, and I still get a letter. In fact, I just got it here the other day, inviting me back to Stockton, California, to their get-together of old-time players. It's a little bit far for me to go, so I don't get to go. So.
Yeah, now you're also, I believe it was the late 60s. I think it was 69. Now, you were affiliated with the Braves at that time in your career?
Yeah, I got traded to the Richmond Braves, and I just wanted to make sure those guys would know that I still could handle it. So in the 1969, I made the All-Star team in the International League. And that's when Dusty Baker was on the team. Him and Ralph Garr were favorites of the Richmond Braves. So, and that's where I made contact with Dusty Baker, and he took a liking to me. So when I was Okay.
And that was 69, as you mentioned, and that was the year in an exhibition game, April 3rd, 69, where you collected your last base hit that we spoke about against Satchel Paige.
Right.
And then in 72, like I said, 17 years is a long time, so you moved around a lot. 72, you signed with the Montreal Expos.
Yeah, they ended up making a coach out of me in that. They had their AAA team was down in the peninsula, down in Norfolk, and that was at the end of my career. I didn't get to play a lot, but I did get to play some, and they thought enough of me to make me the Class A manager. But they didn't send me good players. They sent me all release candidates, and there was a couple guys Tony Bernard and there was a couple other guys that made it to the big leagues as was managers. I was their manager.
And Jack, you even played in Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic, huh?
I played in Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Santo Domingo. So I played in 3 years of winter ball, which the only time I saved any money because I didn't have how to spend it. So I sent my money home, and I really enjoyed myself down there. I played against big league players in the winter ball and held my own. I might not have been that spectacular, but I did hold my own, and I enjoyed. I met a lot of guys in the winter league.
And now, when you retired from baseball, did you still follow the game? Were you still a Cardinals fan?
Oh yeah, I was like I follow it still. Gene Michaels ended up being the manager of the Cardinals. I mean, the New York Yankees. Mm-hmm. And he and I became a double play combination in Columbus when I got traded to the Columbus from the Cardinals. Gene Michaels was the release candidate. So I got with him, and he and I became a good double play combination. Made the National League All-Star team, and he ended up going from being a release candidate in '67 to going to be manager of the Cubs, manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. New York Yankees, and then he became Steinbrenner's number one man. Steinbrenner would has depend on Gene Michaels an awful lot.
I mean, that's incredible, and I have a couple of minutes left, but, the community of Beaver Falls never forgot about you because, as I mentioned, you were inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. I mean, your name is there with Tony Dorsett, Terry Francona, Joe Namath. I mean, those are big names that you're part of.
Yeah, still I'm a close friend of Joe Namath. He still hangs around, and they have the all-star team in the banquet that I go to when Joe Namath is in town.
Amazing. Now, I have 1 minute left. If you had to go reminisce about your entire life, any regrets, or you've gotten everything you wanted in life?
No, I playing in the big leagues would have been the biggest thing for me. If I'd have been able to do that, I would have been satisfied. But I never got the shot. I've had, like I say, Gene Michaels said to me, he said, "I don't know why you didn't get a chance in the big leagues." And he ended up being Steinbrenner's number one man. So,
I'm looking at your stats. 17 years. You're very underrated. As we mentioned, the perennial International League All-Star. I mean, you should have got much more playing time. No question about that.
Should have got a shot at it. Even if I'd have failed, they should have, like I say, played against them in the winter instruction leagues. I would have had a chance to play in the big leagues.
Well, Jack, it was fun. Listen, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Well, thank you for calling and being interested in me. I'm glad they haven't been forgotten.
Oh, no, it's always an honor for me to speak with a professional baseball player, so I really appreciate Jack Damaska, 1963, St. Louis Cardinals. Until next week, happy collecting to all.